When you think about Canadian winters, what comes to mind? Dark mornings, early sunsets, and cozy nights in? Most likely. How about RSPs or putting money away for retirement? Well, it may not be the first thing that you envision, but perhaps it should be earmarked on your calendar as the RSP season always rolls through the first part or quarter of the year. And contributing to your RSP before the deadline can help you take full advantage of this type of investment, ultimately setting yourself up for success in the retirement stage of your life. But how much should you be putting away? What types of investments can you hold in an RSP? And what are the benefits of contributing to an RSP? That's all coming your way on this episode of the Upside Plus. I'm Emily Ann Nuevo, and welcome to the Upside Plus. Whether your retirement is 1, 10, 20, or even 30 years away, today we're highlighting RSP strategies to help you invest, save, and grow your money. We'll explain why RSP season is an important time of the year, and we bring in our tax and retirement experts who will explain how RSPs can look and feel different in various stages of your life. Think of your RSP like a snowbank for your retirement. When the snow piles up, you don't just let it melt away. You keep shoveling into the snowbank where it builds up over time. Your RSP works the same way. Every snowfall or contribution adds to that pile, making it grow steadily. The cold, which is your tax sheltering, keeps the snowbank from melting away too soon, allowing it to accumulate over the years. The bigger your snowbank, the more you'll have when you need it come retirement. You can chip away at it gradually, ensuring you have enough to last through the season. Also, two important dates to remember. March 3rd, 2025 is the deadline to contribute to your RSP for the 2024 tax season, and December 31st of the year you turn 71 years old is the last day you can contribute to your RSP. So why choose an RSP? Well, a registered retirement savings plan allows you to reduce your taxable income each year while building up savings for future retirement income. Another benefit of RSPs, not only are they tax deductible, they are tax deferred. This means the investments you hold inside your RSP can grow tax-free until you withdraw your funds from your account. Most people will withdraw in their retirement years when they are in a lower income bracket. There are so many ways to make the most of your RSP by investing early and compounding your investments, or leveraging your tax refund, or even taking advantage of RSP withdrawal strategies. But remember, consulting your financial advisor is important to get your financial and retirement goals aligned. As we roll along into the RSP season, how can you make the most of your RSPs during this time and perhaps during different stages of your life? Well, we have Fidelity Canada's tax and retirement experts here in studio to field questions from Fidelity employees about RSPs. Michelle, Giselle, Jacqueline, thank you so much for being here in studio and joining me today. It's
great to be here.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, so we recently talked to Fidelity employees about RSPs and retirement savings. And so the plan now is to go through each video clip and get comments from each of you. So let's get to the first video clip from Andrew, who is a co-op student here at Fidelity. Take a listen. When you hear about RRSP season, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Honestly, contributing to my account as much as possible. But right now as a student, I'm focused on contributing on my TFSA rather than my RSP account.
So as a young person, are you thinking about retirement in general and sort of saving and putting money away for that stage of your life?
I'm contributing to my TFSA rather than my retirement savings account just because I don't have as much income as a student and my contribution limit is higher on my TFSA. So I'm more focused on maximizing that. But yes, I am focused on retirement as well.
Okay, interesting. It sounds like you're sort of prioritizing, your financial situation. Is that something you think about often?
Of course, yeah, it's definitely something I think about often, but it's hard to mitigate with the increasing cost of living, especially in Canada. So I'm doing as much as I can and saving as much as possible with my paychecks.
So what types of questions would you say are going through your head when you think about RSPs and retirement later on in your life?
I think just determining a set amount, how much I'm going to save out of each paycheck, because I want to make sure I'm consistently contributing as much as possible. But given my concerns with the rising cost of living, I'm not sure how much I'll be able to contribute to my RSP because I also want to own a house in the future.
So to summarize, you kind of want to have a picture of how much you should put away, like every month, every year. As a young person, you still don't really know what that amount is.
Exactly. Yeah, I'd like to set a recurring amount just so I know exactly how much I can contributing each time I get paid, just because I appreciate that consistency.
Okay, so we just heard from Andrew. He talked about investing in his TFSA rather than his RSP. Michelle, let's go to you. Is he on the right track?
Okay, so Andrew, absolutely on the right track. He's asking great questions, especially for a student when there's often so many competing financial priorities getting started in life. And so he was asking about TFSA, tax-free savings account, versus an RRSP, registered retirement savings plan. So let's start with that TFSA first. So one makes a contribution to their TFSA. There's no tax deduction for that. But investments inside the TFSA grow tax-free. And then when he makes a withdrawal from that TFSA, it's tax-free as well. TFSAs are also more flexible because if one makes a withdrawal, you can recontribute that in a later year. Now, typically TFSAs are used for short, midterm financial goals. So let's compare and contrast that to an RRSP, Registered Retirement Savings Plan. Well, as the name suggests, it's really intended for retirement. And for Andrew, that's decades from now.
He's still young. I think 19,
He's
he
still
said.
young,
Yeah.
yes. And okay, so one makes a contribution to their RSP. You get a tax deduction for that RSP contribution. Well, I'm guessing Andrew's a student. He's in a lower tax bracket, if he has any taxable income at all. So he's not going to get the same, I guess, bang for his tax buck, if you will, as one who's later stage in their career in a higher tax bracket. Okay, so then investing inside an RSP was on a tax deferred basis, and then a withdrawal, typically in retirement, is taxable. So back to the original question for Andrew, what should he be thinking about? For most young investors, students, thinking about that TFSA, and probably because he wants short-term goals, wants the flexibility, not concerned about the deduction that he gets for his RSP contribution. But overall, Andrew's really on the right track. He's asking really good questions. He's starting early. Einstein's quoted as saying, "The power of compounding is the eighth wonder of the world." So Andrew's got time on his side.
So let's go to our second clip. Let's hear from Lauren, who is in her 20s. Take a listen. When you hear RSPs, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
I mean, I think of retirement, and I'm in my young 20s, so I'm definitely considering putting money aside for retirement, but I often am wondering the best way to go about it. If I should be maxing out my RSP or my TFSA, and kind of what's the most tax efficient way of doing that?
Are you invested right now? Would you say that you're, substantially invested in something and you just want to sort of prioritize, where you stand?
I mean, I do invest, and I know I'm young, but I'm always thinking about the best way to do it. With retirement seems so far out, but I want to invest for long-term growth and just kind of really maximize growth in these tax-advantaged accounts.
Perfect. And like you said, I know that retirement is sort of at a later stage in your life, but what would your ideal retirement scenario look like?
I mean, for me, I think like everyone else, I just want to have a solid retirement nest egg that I can, live comfortably with the flexibility to retire earlier if possible. But really just right now, my goals are kind of to just use these kind of tax advantage accounts as much as I can to grow that money that I'm making now for future use.
So we have our panel of tax experts. If you can ask them, if you can present to our panel some of your top questions and current concerns in terms of retirement and retirement savings, what would it be?
I mean, for me, I think that my top question would be, like, how much should I be contributing really? Because I know there's the contribution limit, but I also have long-term goals, but also short-term goals, that like things I need to be spending my money on now in my 20s. So I really just want to know how much I should be contributing and prioritizing that. I mean, like, I know I should pay myself first, and everyone says that, but I need to kind of find a balance and a way to do that in a smart way to maximize these accounts and use them for what they're meant for.
So we just heard from Lauren, who is a bit unsure of how much of her paycheck she should be putting away. Giselle, do you want to take that?
Sure. So it's great, Lauren, that you're in your early 20s and you're already thinking about putting away money for retirement or in your TFSA. It's a great time to start saving early. In terms of the perfect amount to put away, there's no magic number. It really depends on your own specific long-term and short-term financial goals and your own specific situation. What I would say is if she has anything that she's looking to do in the near future, a TFSA might make more sense because, like Michelle said, you can put amounts in your TFSA, they grow tax-free, and then when you withdraw those amounts, they're also tax-free, and you can contribute back to your TFSA in the future. And so if there's something she's looking to do in the near future, that could be a great vehicle to save for those purposes. Whereas with an RRSP, if you contribute to your RRSP and you get your tax deduction, if you take it out the amount in the near future, you would have to pay tax on that withdrawal, and you would lose that contribution room. And so it might make more sense for her to look into her TFSA if she has those short-term goals. In terms of whether or not to contribute to her RSP, she should also think about what tax bracket she's currently in. It sounds like she's pretty early in her career. It might make more sense to wait till she's later in her career in a higher marginal tax bracket and contribute then to take advantage of the tax savings.
So for Lauren, is there a sort of a magic number in terms of how much you should be saving, like every paycheck, or that depends on your financial
That really depends on your financial situation. If she can get that $7,000 into her TFSA every year, that's probably a great starting point.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much, Giselle. Okay, to our last clip, let's hear from Matt. In general, do you think about when the contribution deadline is coming up, and do you try to make an effort to contribute every year? Is that important to you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great tool for younger people to defer their income and also build their savings when it's most important, when you're younger.
Okay, so you know your stuff. If you contribute, you can get a tax break, or you can just save on your tax bill. Matt, what would you say are your top concerns when it comes to maybe thinking about retirement and putting money away for your retirement?
Just having enough to live, because, you know, I saw my parents, they've saved their whole lives. I saw my grandparents, they've saved their whole life. And, you know, you just don't know what's going to happen when you get older. And sure, you can rely on the government if you want, but you want to make sure, right? So that's what I think is most important.
Matt, what would you say your top 3 retirement goals are?
It would be to have my own place, have, you know, some family, and just be able to do what I want to do on a daily basis, whether it be my own shop or whatever may come my way, but do it for myself.
We just heard from Matt and his retirement goals. Jacqueline, is it good to be setting retirement goals as early as your 30s?
I am so impressed with Matt. It's incredible. The fact that he is already disciplined and actively saving is amazing. Now, one of the things that he was talking about as far as some of his goals was purchasing a house. And that's one thing that I think a lot of Canadians are trying to do. But with our housing market, it's really difficult for a lot of Canadians. So in April of 2023, the government launched the First Home Savings Account, or the FHSA. And this is an excellent way for someone like Matt to be able to save for a home. He can save a maximum of $8,000 a year. What's great is that it's actually sort of a hybrid between an RSP and a TFSA. And what I mean by that is anytime that he makes a contribution to the FHSA, there's a deduction that he'll receive for that. But then when he goes to pull that out, as long as it's a qualifying withdrawal, he pulls that money out of the FHSA tax-free. And any growth that's gone in there is also tax-free. So it's an excellent opportunity for him, and definitely something he may want to consider doing. You'd mentioned, we're RSP season, so we should talk about RSPs as well. He may want to consider doing a home buyer's plan withdrawal from his RSP. That gives him an additional up to $60,000 that he could pull out there. So between the FHSA and the RSP, it can be quite powerful to him and might be something for him to consider.
Wow. Thank you so much, Jacqueline, Giselle, and Michelle, for sharing such insightful tax saving strategies. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having us.
We hope you gain knowledge on how to make the most of your RSPs and take advantage of all the tax benefits it offers. But remember, consulting with your financial advisor is the best way to make the most of your financial future. I'm Emily Ann Nuevo, and thanks for tuning in to the Upside Plus.